racketeering.
I would like to call on our policemen to reciprocate this gesture by continuing to dedicate themselves to the fight against these criminalities.
One cannot expect a safe and secure West Africa without a reliable police information system in place.
It has a budget of 28 million euros, which is about 16 billion naira, and it covers the area, geographical area of ECOWAS, but also Mauritania and Chad. It is designed to strengthen the capacity of those countries.
We're also fully convinced that in order to fight transnational organized crime, member states must collaborate closely at national, regional, and global levels.
Given the security challenges faced by West African sub-region, Acting Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba says the center will enrich the renewed fight against all forms of criminality in Nigeria.
It will also act as a platform for coordinated approach to crime detection, prevention, prosecution and rehabilitation, as well as projection.
Security watchers hope that the impact of the platform will be felt as soon as possible. Franks is from NTA News.
And disturbed by the myriad of security breaches in parts of the country, the House of Representatives, after passing hundreds of resolutions, effects of which are yet to make an impact, decided to convene an open forum with the hope of coming up with an innovative and practical solution. Invitees cut across key levels, including security chiefs, traditional and religious leaders, and the executives. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on this special summit on national security.
At this time of our national history, when insecurity threatens the authority of the state and the foundations of our nationhood, when the activities of bandits, insurgents, and criminals of every stripe impede our efforts at progress and prosperity, we must confront the realization that our previous and current approaches to addressing the challenges of insecurity have not yielded the desired result.
And a recent introduction in the southeast is another serious threat to the existence of this country, where government institutions are targeted, our police, our security agencies personnel are being killed on a daily basis.
Inconveniences that we find when security agencies implement certain policies and guidelines. Sometimes it's not convenient for the populace, it's not convenient for the citizens. These inconveniences, of course, are part and parcel of the cost for peace.
All is not well appeared to be the title of addresses of various speakers at the event, as one after the other, in different words, lamented the challenges of insecurity in Nigeria. Talking, they said, is something that has been ongoing for years. They called for a better result-oriented response.
The social media, that's the worst. As lawmakers, what do you do? How do you handle such issues of the social media? Because before tomorrow and say Sultan calls for ban, I didn't say so, I didn't say ban social media. But how do you regulate it? We have seen this thing happen all over the world. Why can't Nigeria also borrow from that?
Anybody who claims to love Nigeria must realize by now that the insecurity situation calls for everybody's input to completely nip it on the board.
Between the age of 18 to under 40, we have them in numbers of more than 70%. How well are we carrying along these people in that age bracket? We are not engaging them at all. They are the most active in our system. Let us tell ourselves the truth. They are hungry and they are angry.
That there is an incontrovertible evidence of a linkage between drug use and the spate of insecurity. The bandits, the insurgents, and the criminals use drugs before launching their nefarious missions.
Secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who, representing President Buhari at the summit, said The nation's chief security officer is awaiting the recommendations of the summit, as he believes they will inject additional energy into current efforts to tackle the situation.
That our growing democratic system, institutions, and ethos provide for a good platform for various arms of government to collaborate and find solutions to national challenges of all magnitudes, including security.
The Summit on National Security is focusing on key areas such as the role of traditional institutions, bilateral and multilateral collaboration, peace building and security reforms. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, with the security situation in the country gradually shaping to address emerging threats, stakeholders in the nation's security are perfecting plans to reduce unlawful ways of expressing grievances and ensuring the corporate existence of the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that these formed the discussion on NTA's Tuesday Live, where citizens' responsibility in tackling insecurity took the center stage.
The growing phenomenon of violence attacks on lives and security infrastructure in some parts of the country is propelling stakeholders to close ranks in finding lasting solutions. Citizens' responsibility in tackling insecurity is proposed as a vehicle for exploring areas of engagement with the public and stemming the tide of avoidable tension that threatens communal living and social cohesion.
We must go back to basics. Okay. We must go back to our values. We must respect our laws.
We are not happy to see our men being slaughtered like rams on daily basis, in various attacks, in various encounters with men of the underworld.
Government will need to rebuild those police stations. That means increment in taxation or increment in the amount of resources that government requires to rebuild those very particular formations. Okay, what about the people officers that have been killed? What is their offense? Because they want to protect Nigeria?
Intelligence gathering, enhancement of security infrastructure for swift response to distress situation, and professional handling of crimes are also part of the strategic roadmap to curb the menace.
One of the solutions is to fight this thing head-on, to face it head-on, just like the Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka used intelligence to fight this war, and they got it right.
So all officers will always be willing and ready to receive actionable intelligence and swift into action, because we are waging war against the criminal elements.
Stakeholders advocate the provision of platforms to mobilize and engage youth into productive ventures and high-level community participation to break the ice and return the country to the path of peace and national development. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
In another story, more than 100 officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service drawn from across 6 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, are being trained to acquaint them with skills on inmates' behavioral and cognitive modification as part of efforts to break cycles of crimes, restore lives, and promote religious harmony. Fatima Usman reports.
Prison Fellowship Nigeria for more than 2 decades now have been projecting primary goals that include transforming lives of inmates at correctional centers, reconciling relationships, and restoring communities. The objective of the faith-based organization is also in tandem with Section 10G of the Nigerian Correctional Service Act 2019 that provides for initiation of behavior modification in inmates through the provision of medical, psychological, spiritual, and counseling services for offenders, including violent extremists. It is in a bid to further strengthen this objective that the Prison Fellowship Nigeria put together this workshop for correctional officers from Kebbi, Sokoto, Kwara, Zamfara, and Niger states, including the FCT, to acquaint them with skills to run fellowship in the correctional centers and generate best reformative programs for the inmates. The Controller General, Nigerian Correctional Service, was represented at the event.
This partnership has yielded tremendous benefits to the service and the nation at large.
We are here comparing and saying, look, we've got these programs that can achieve what you... And I think it's when we begin to collaborate along those lines that we're able to collectively achieve and attain the objectives of the new act.
The workshop with the theme Remedial Program Symbiotic Reinforcement is to secure better understanding between correctional officers and inmates in line with the 3R mandates of the service, which include reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration. The workshop in Minna, which also had input from the president of Prison Fellowship International in United Kingdom via Skype, in the pilot scheme of other similar workshops to be carried across 7 zones of the Nigerian Correctional Service in Minna. Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Oladayo Amao, has constituted a committee of serving and retired senior officers to conduct a safety audit of all Nigerian Air Force operational and engineering units. Defense correspondent Naja Atutujani reports.
In a statement by the Nigerian Air Force Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabwet, the committee is to be chaired by the Deputy Theatre Commander, Operation Hattenke, Air Vice Marshal Abraham Adole, and will, among other terms of reference, analyze safety reports, conduct safety evaluation of Nigerian Air Force units, and recommend measures to enhance operation safety in the units. The Nigerian Air Force says the audit is a routine part of Nigerian Air Force operations to maintain and improve safety standards. However, the impending safety audit follows the air crash of 2 350I King Air Beechcrafts in February and May this year, which claimed the lives of the Chief of Army Staff and other officers and men of the Nigerian Army and Nigerian Air Force, as well as a missing Alpha jet, NAF 475, which went off radar on March 31st, 2021. Meanwhile, the committee is expected to submit its report not later than 18 June 2021. Naja Atutujani, NTA News.
Flags to fly at half-mast is usually a presidential order as a mark of respect and honor to departed citizens considered as heroes, especially those who died in active service. This report by Kenneth Nanim is pointing to some errors and omissions with compliance as presidential directive to fly at half-mast in honor of gallant officers involved in Kaduna air crash ends today.
The Nigerian flag is a national symbol of unity, as it is with other countries of the world. It is a representation of the country's identity and authority. It could also serve as a symbol of honor. Friday's unfortunate plane crash that claimed the life of the Chief of Army Staff and 10 other military officers sent the nation into mourning. President Muhammadu Buhari directed that all flags be flown at half-mast as a mark of respect and mourning for the gallant officers. However, investigations revealed that while some institutions complied, others did not. In some cases, some institutions only lowered the national flag, with the institution's flag flying at full mast. Whether this practice is out of ignorance, negligence, or omission, the Director General of National Orientation Agency, Dr. Garuba Abari, says it is not acceptable.
And this is a misnomer, because the national flag is the symbol of our national power, it's the symbol of our national strength, the symbol of our national unity, the symbol of our national sovereignty. It therefore supersedes every other institutional flag. So if the national flag is flown at half-mast, all institutional flags must fly at half-mast.
Explaining that no institution has the right to disobey such orders, he says every citizen and institution has the obligation to respect and honor the Nigerian flag and echo the collective mood of the nation as directed.
The NOA has been very consistently reminding constantly including sensitization, and the NTA has been one that has been aiding us in that, bringing out the import and the significance of respect for our national symbols, and especially the national flag and the armorial bearings, what we call the coat of arms.
The flying of the flag at half-mast or half-staff is an old tradition with military origin to symbolize a solemn occasion of loss.
Dear gallant patriots. Coming up on the next segment of News Extra, conversations on Nigeria's constitution hold sway, plus setting the record straight on the nation's looted funds, those on the hot seat. Find out this and more after this timeout. Join us again.
I did look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no, 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 no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension.
Over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
This looks different.
It is. 8K video, beyond cinema quality.
So
you can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
I'm with you at every stage of your life, providing comfort when you are keeping fit, comfort when you are expecting your bundle of joy, comfort during motherhood, comfort in your office, comfort in your car, comfort when sharing a meal, comfort at bedtime. From cradle to grey, there's comfort for you with Vitafoam. Quality is vital. Quality is Vitafoam. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
Please keep an eye on Jenny.
Oh, that's all right.
Uncle Paul, look! I want to be a pilot when I grow up.
That's good. I've always wanted to be friends with a pilot.
Uncle Paul, what's your job?
I help people understand things.
Like a teacher?
Almost. I help explain to mummies and daddies what they can do with their money. I help people build stuff. And I'm always there when they are happy and when they are sad. I help people grow all kinds of things.
You're a farmer!
Not quite. I help people keep and grow their money so later they come back when it's bigger for themselves.
You're a magician!
Just like a pilot, I help people move from where they are to where they want to be.
Thank you, Uncle Paul.
Pilot.
ARM. Invested in your tomorrow. Fun is 10. Smart is is 10. Fast is 10. Elegance is 10. My experience is 10. Redmi Note 10 Pro. Challenge the boundaries. Get the Redmi Note 10 Pro, built with 108 megapixel camera, 120 Hz AMOLED display, and Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G, as well as 33 watts fast charge. The Redmi Note 10 Pro, powered by Xiaomi.
Nigeria joins the world to mark the 2021 World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development, otherwise known as the World Cultural Day, to raise awareness on the role of culture in sustainable socio-economic growth and development. With Nigeria's 2021 theme being Cultural Diversity in the COVID-19 era, a sensitization and awareness roadwork is slated for Wednesday, 26th May 2021 at the Radio House by 9 a.m. The grand finale comes up at National Press Center Radio House on Thursday, 27th May 2021 by 9 a.m. with exhibition of cultural diversity of the country. Announcing Ministry of Information and Culture.
Good to have you back. The principle of separation of powers as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution guarantees the independence of all the arms of government. This well-established principle is pivot of good governance in a democracy. Dele Atumbi takes a look at this principle as it affects judicial autonomy.
There are three arms of government comprising the executive, legislature, and the judiciary are constitutionally guaranteed to work together in the Revenue Fund. 1999, before its fourth alteration, the financial autonomy of the legislative arm of government was added to.
The issue of independence of the judiciary is a phenomenon that do not respect who is that or who is who. It's like the oxygen you breathe. No one is given extra oxygen at the time of birth, or is put in such a way that he might be denied or refused to be given oxygen. It comes naturally.
What we've done is to set out templates of what will be used, what they will follow in the making of their judiciary funds management law. I think it is self-executing because it was so difficult for 21 years. So difficult from 2017, 2018 when the amendment was passed. So difficult from 2019 when the Presidential Implementation Committee was set up. So difficult from 2020 when the Executive Order 10 was issued, and so difficult that it led to strike by the Parliamentary Staff Union and the Judicial Staff Union and paralyzing of services, including justice. So it is implementable because all the parties have now agreed.
Section 1B of Executive Order 10 empowers the Accountant General of the Federation to deduct directly of the lacuna between Section 81, subsection 3, and Section 121, subsection 3 as the way forward.
But financial autonomy actually goes a long way in ensuring judicial autonomy. When you talk about judicial autonomy, you're talking about the judiciary standing on its own. You know, because we know about the concept of separation of powers. In our polity, you have separation of powers, which is also enshrined in the Constitution.
Observers say the enactment of Executive Order 10 is a further testimony of the commitment of the Buhari-led administration to the independence of the judiciary. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
A total of 57 interest groups made presentations at the Northwest Senate public hearing on construction review holding in Kaduna. Mohammed Umar Ajingi reports that issues concerning governance, structure and functionality of all arms of government, including reform in the nation's security architecture, formed part of deliberations by stakeholders.
In fulfillment of its mandates of bringing together stakeholders from various walks of life to speak to issues critical for the review of Nigeria's constitution, the Northwest Committee headed by Senator Kabiru Gaya convenes this public hearing.
You will agree with me that if we get those items through constitutional process of altering successfully, then our constitutional democracy will be set on the right pedestal.
The evolution of power among tiers of government, fiscal issues, macroeconomic development, federal structure and gender-related matters are among submissions by participants.
We recommend that the issue of new national minimum wage should be under the exclusive legislative list, not under the concurrent legislative list. And then we also advocate for autonomy for local government, autonomy for judiciary, and autonomy for legislature.
And I pray that my distinguished senators will give our women the opportunity to one day have as many of you opportunities.
At the inaugural session, the host, Governor Nasru Ahmad El-Rufai, suggests decentralizing the Nigerian police and the judiciary.
I am of the strong conviction that we need to devolve powers in our country to rebalance our federation for better governance.
Stakeholders from 4 participating states of Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, and host Kaduna are expected to present concrete implementable contributions for the review of the 1999 Constitution. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
And from Kaduna, let's head to Akure, where participants at the ongoing Southwest Zonal Senate public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution have demanded restructuring of Nigeria to a true federal state. At the event held in Akure, the representatives from Ondo, Ekiti and Osun states decried the current socio-economic situation in Nigeria and suggested a devolution of power as the solution. Abiola Ario has the details.
Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu said the 1999 Constitution was not a product of consultations, hence the need for inputs to meet the contemporary democratic system of government. He cautioned against partisanship in the interest of national unity and stressed the need to tap from the 1963 Constitution.
We must sit together. There must be concession secured in an ambience of frank exchanges among members of the same family. The current attempt at constitutional amendment should be taken beyond the usual jamboree.
Leader of the committee, Senator Ajayi Borofe, said the review would provide a platform for Nigerians to express their opinions on the fundamental law that govern their lives through proposals that would lead to the highest good for the greatest number of people.
I encourage and implore all of us, irrespective of our political affiliations, and Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora, to support the Senate and indeed the National Assembly in our desire to bring possible transformations to our country.
Other stakeholders advocated a review of Constitution to meet the demands of Nigerians on restructuring and true federalism for the future of the nation. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
Similarly, the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution has begun public hearing from people in the Northeast region. Emmanuel Akila has that.
People of the Northeast region, just like most Nigerians who have been calling for a review of the 1999 Constitution, now have the opportunity to do so, as the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution is here in Gombe.
On behalf of His Excellency, the Senate President,
Senator Muhammad Njuma Guji declared open the 2-day public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution from people of Adamawa, Gombe, and Taraba states.
The focus for this committee is how to manage the review exercise in a fair, inclusive, credible, and transparent manner.
Governor Muhammad Inwa Yahya called on the people to make meaningful contributions in their memoranda and other submissions to the committee, on matters concerning the future development of the region and the country at large.
It is our hope that given our unique challenges as people of the Northeast sub-region, we shall come up with positions that will enhance the cause of national unity and cohesion, regional integration, and local economic development.
Matters of security and inclusivity are top for the people in the Northeast region.
Specifically, the issue of security is paramount in the Northeast. This should clearly be addressed.
The creation of local government should be taken into cognizance.
During the technical sessions, the committee will take presentations from groups and individuals as their contributions towards altering the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is strengthening the administrative and legal processes in the management of recovered assets in Nigeria. Chairman Ad Hoc Committee on Assessment and Status of All Recovered Loots from 2002 to 2020, Adejoro Adeogun, said this during an investigative hearing. Mobolaji Mori-Birin has the report.
The investigative hearing is seeking from government agencies responsible for recovered looted assets to provide summary of seizures between 2002 and 2020, made up of movable and immovable assets.
The executive has passed a bill to the House for management of proceeds of crime, and we feel that to enrich that process, we need to look at the past. Look at the mistakes that they made in the past and then make recommendations to correct such errors.
Issues raised also border on position of recovered funds and contributions of the agencies to the consolidated accounts.
Products are arrested. They are handed over to the appropriate prosecuting agencies.
We have recoveries, for instance, that we are making for the Lottery Commission, Federal Inland Revenue Services. Customs down the years, Nigerian Post Authority, where corporate entities that have cornered these funds or have refused to pay the appropriate taxes are now paying directly to the agencies involved.
Some of our efforts that have yielded returns to government were monies that we successfully stopped from leaving government accounts. So, for example, we do investigation. We found out that an agency has requested in the budget money that it does not require.
More agencies are expected to appear before the committee before rounding off the investigation. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Mori-Birin, NTA News.
Unbundling the Nigerian Postal Service will not only upgrade Nigeria's postal institution to a global player, but will also expand its commercial viability. This is coming from the public hearing on a Nigerian Postal Service Repeal and Reenactment Bill convened by the Senate Committee on Communications. Ignatius Nkwo was there.
As countries around the world are busy reinvigorating their traditional communication systems, the Nigerian Senate has embarked on reforming the Nigerian Postal Service. This is coming through a bill that seeks to provide global status for NIPOST by separating service provider from the regulator and the establishment of NIPOST Microfinance Bank.
To cover implementation of a national postal policy encouraging local and foreign investment in the postal industry.
Establishment of a regulatory framework for the postal industry, which shall be an effective, impartial, and independent authority. That is the Nigerian Postal Commission.
Nigerian Postal Service to be exclusively in charge of stamp duties. Our observation, Mr. Chairman, is that this will be against the spirit of the Constitution.
The bill for the establishment of a nationwide toll-free emergency number for the effective and efficient emergency management system was also thrown up for public input.
It's equally very important for foreign citizens, the outlet to freely seek assistance in case of emergency or for the prevention of incidences.
Our plan is to have a minimum of one emergency communication center in each state,
and that will be in collaboration with other stakeholders that will use it, like police, fire service, and many more.
The Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omo-Agege, who is also chairman of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Constitutional Review, has announced that the committee has received 250 memoranda and will ensure that no personal interest will influence the ongoing alteration process.
And the committee have held several consultations and meetings to deliberate on the process and submissions in preparation for the public hearings at both national and zonal levels. Following from the analysis of the memoranda submitted, the issues have increased to 16.
Senator Omo-Agege announced that the Senate will vote on the constitutional alteration bills before embarking on its 2021 annual recess in July. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In another development, Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, says efforts are in top gear to ensure the completion of ongoing construction of 1,000 houses and other social amenities put in place are handed over to the Borno State government by the end of June this year for the full resettlement of internally displaced persons to Ngwom community in Mafa local government area of the state. This followed an assessment visit by the NEDC led by the Managing Director, Dr. Mohammed Goni Al-Kali, to the community after an attack by the insurgents on residents. Jadwa John Jessini reports.
The attack by Boko Haram insurgents on Ngwom community, where shops and armored personnel carrier of security operatives were set ablaze, as well as water facilities vandalized, also affected some of the houses built by the NEDC as stray bullets damaged some of the roofs. Managing Director of NEDC, Mohammed Goni Al-Kali, alongside Executive Director of Operations, Omar Maiwada, among other staffs of the Commission, paid an assessment visit to the community. Having recalled that the NEDC is set to build and hand over 1,000 houses in Ngwom community, the Managing Director revealed that the project is almost completed as 900 houses are ready. He disclosed that social amenities, which constitute some basic necessities for human survival, will also be put in place for the returnees.
Water is critical. Light, this complex for the housing area will be completed very soon so that the beneficiaries, the IDPs, can move in as quickly as possible.
Executive Director Operations of the NEDC, Omar Maiwada, says the Commission is also working hand in hand with security agencies to ensure that returnees and their property are adequately protected, as the housing project will be handed over to Borno State government for their resettlement.
These insecurity issues should have subsided by the time they come over. It is everybody's prayers. We should be able to hand over this by the end of June.
The housing project by the NEDC is part of the Commission's effort to assist the Borno State government in decongesting the state capital. In Maiduguri, Jadwa John Jessini, NTA News.
Good news there. Now, the Abdul Samad Rabiu African Initiative, in collaboration with Akwa Ibom State Government, has performed groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the Akwa Ibom State University Teaching Hospital in Awa, on a local government area. Ifoma Aikojo reports that the immediate beneficiaries are optimistic that the facility will, when completed, will attract medical tourism, boost the healthcare system, and encourage research and training.
The ASR Africa initiative, established by an African industrialist and founder of Boa Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, supports sustainable development initiatives in health, education, and social development within Nigeria and the other African countries through its yearly $100 million Africa Fund for Social Development and Renewal. In line with this drive, the ASR 2 weeks ago announced a 5 billion naira support for the construction of Akwa Ibom State University Teaching Hospital and has released 2.5 million naira for the commencement of the project.
Any investment given here will result into commensurate output of support for the development of the state. And the state have already done very well. I think that is why the chairman of the foundation is supporting the state to do more.
This is purely philanthropic. Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu has a history of being a philanthropist. He's donated to several causes, and I must state here now that
This initiative has absolutely no political affiliation.
Receiving the first tranche of the funds and flagging of the project, Governor Udom Emmanuel and his Rivers State counterpart, Nyesom Wike, extolled the ASR for the huge investment, promising to deliver a model teaching hospital that will enhance health care. Akwa Ibom sons and daughters appreciate the gesture and promise optimum cooperation.
Even when they go somewhere else, they should remember to come back, that we are going to support them.
The project, which is expected to boost research and training of indigenous medical consultants, will be implemented and monitored in line with the ASR Africa Mutual Accountability Framework. From our Iman, on a local government area, Ifoma Ihoji, NTA News.
Thank you, Ifeoma. Now let's take another breather, and when we return, a forgotten historic site with enormous tourism potentials right here in the Federal Capital Territory, begging for attention, and a delicacy that has gained so much popularity among Calabar people that is bound to get you craving for it. Details shortly.
When you come into the Glow Cafe, you're in for a world of treats. Not only can you monitor all your voice and data usage with ease, buy, share, borrow, and gift data and airtime in the smoothest ways, pay for any services of your choice using your airtime or your bank card, and manage or change your tariff plan to any plan you prefer seamlessly. You can also add friends, get sweet rewards, and so much more. Oh, and don't forget, if you ever need to recharge outside the Glow Cafe app, just dial *805# to purchase airtime or data through your bank. So, step into your Glow Cafe today.
Just dial *777# or download the Glow Cafe app today.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using New Mortein Insta-Kill. New Mortein Insta-Kill's improved formulation knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster. Not even a single mosquito is spared, because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Insta knocks down mosquitoes 2 times faster.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol sure.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol Sure.
We are Dettol sure.
developing the nation's human resource.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste. Sensodyne Rapid Action Toothpaste, available in a big 100-gram tube and a small 25-gram tube.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
You can get more news and updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. And also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
Thanks for staying. COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program gets operational vehicles to ensure successful takeoff as Nigeria Exchange Group All-Share Index dips marginally amid positive market breadth. Let's join Musa Abakar for details on business news. Musa.
Thank you, Fatima. To ensure successful takeoff of the Nigeria COVID-19 Action Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program at the sub-national levels, the federal government has procured and formally presented 40 operational vehicles for use by state coordinators of the program. Minister of State Budget and National Planning, Clem Akpa, who received the vehicles handed over by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, explained that the program, which is multi-sectoral, is designed to provide immediate emergency relief to the vulnerable smallholder farmers as well as small and medium enterprises that were adversely affected by COVID-19.
To be driven and implemented by the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The intervention allocation to each state is $20 million and $15 million to the Federal Capital Territory.
There's no doubt that this intervention will impact on the beneficiaries as well as contribute to the rebuilding of the economy and prosperity in Nigeria.
The program is financed from World Bank $750 million loan. Now, the equities market continued losing streak for the third consecutive day, with investors losing 12.03 billion naira. The all-share index declined 0.06% to close 38,233.68 points, and equity capitalization at 19.9 trillion naira. 203.1 million shares valued at 1.8 billion naira were traded in 3,594 deals. Fidelity Bank, Zenith Bank, and Mutual Benefit Assurance PLC are the most traded shares with a combined total value of more than 560 million naira. Well, that concludes business news. It's back to you, Fatima.
Thank you so much, Musa, for doing business with you. The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, has received accolades by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Agency Initiative, NTA, for not just living up to expectation, but for taking extra steps to make Nigeria's oil and gas sector an enviable one. Annie Daniels reports that this was when top management staff of NTA paid DPR a courtesy call in Lagos.
Since coming on board 50 years ago, Department of Petroleum Resources (DPR) has instituted a series of policies and programs to ensure sustainable development of Nigeria's oil and gas resources for economic growth. Aware of this, Executive Secretary Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NTA, and top management staff of the company visited the DPR to acquaint themselves with the agency's mode of operations, explore areas of collaboration, and gain technical support, amongst other important issues.
We do this by publishing reports, sir, which DPR has been very cooperative. And those reports will ask the question, how much the companies pay to government, royalties, taxes, all kinds of rates.
Director DPR Sarki Awalu spoke extensively on measures and steps initiated by DPR, especially in the area of hydrocarbon accounting, which has boosted investors' confidence and translated to foreign direct investments into the sector. Awalu added that since the incorporation of the National Oil and Gas Excellence Center, NOJEC, in Lagos, DPR has received $20 billion proposal.
The investment is coming from a lot of investors' house across the globe. They are really requesting for DPR to prove their capacity to really come and partner with companies that prove their competence and the data available for them so that they can really invest in the economy directly.
I'm proud as a Nigerian that I can stay in here in Lagos and monitor real time what is happening in the sector. I was taking around the whole of this process, and I think our position, our concern, that we do not know how much exactly we are producing have been substantially addressed.
With this collaboration, DPR and NTA are optimistic that Nigerians are in for a greater and transparent oil and gas sector. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Plantain, which is scientifically called Musa paradisica, is rich in vitamin A, C, and B6, and has for some time now, in its roasted form, become a delicacy, especially when served with fish or chicken. This combination seems to have found a place on the menu list of Calabar residents, and correspondent Cecilia Julius has been on the streets to find out why the rush for this meal.
Roasted plantain, fish, or chicken is a popular delicacy seen at strategic points on the streets of Calabar. It is either eaten ripe or unripe, depending on the choice of the consumer. However, to some people, it is best eaten with specially made sauce, onion, and some local spicy leaves called utasi in local parlance. Some residents of Calabar who are fond of this daily snack speak on their choice of consumption.
Right from when I was young, growing up to this level in life, is something that I've never gotten tired of it. Even as I'm standing here, I hope to have a plate.
I take it at least twice in a day.
For some vendors of this delicacy, it's a lucrative business for them and their families.
This is my 3 years in this business.
Do they make them?
You can't do business without profit. Sometimes in a day, you can make up to 5, you can make 3, you can make 7, you can make 6. It depends the patron is.
Preparation of the fish, we get the fish, tear it open, take out the intestine, cut it to the sizes we want, season it sometimes overnight, roast it. It's ready for customers to have it.
But is roasted plantain and fish truly nutritious and a value addition?
Plantain contain carbohydrates, the potassium contain minerals, contain fibers. So for people that have challenges also with their potassium level, like the people with renal problems, the kidney problems, I think their plantain intake is regulated.
Either way, consumers of this delicacy seems to make it an inviting meal. So take a bite. Who knows? This may be another unforgettable experience when next you visit Calabar. In Calabar, Cecilia Julius, NTA News.
Sure, it is inviting us. It has invited me already to Calabar. Now, remember, we promised to bring you a story last week, but here it is. 60 kilometers southeast of Abuja, Nigeria's capital, lies Taruga archaeological site, a hidden treasure of iron smelting that goes back centuries. Sad story is, such historic and tourist attraction is yet to gain proper recognition and perhaps be the cynosure of Nigeria's monuments. Abdullahi Ajay visited the place, and here is he with the sights and sounds of Taruga.
Taruga archaeological site in Takushere community in Kabusa political world of the Abuja Municipal Area Council has remained a child of necessity, waiting to be explored to its pride of place, so as to be at par with any tourist and historic site around the world. NTA's navigation of the unknown terrain was made simple by the locals who are well familiar with the story of the iron smelting site and the archaeological discovery dating back to many centuries.
Well, notwithstanding the state of how this tunnel looks like, which is not an ordinary water tunnel, it forms part of the history of this Taruga community. And for as long as members of this community would remember, this tunnel dates back to hundreds of years when it used to be a gold mining site.
The reception from the youths of the community who served as tour guides also provided security through the stony hilly sides of history.
Mr. Priestley, he is the one that brought Benefac. So he's the one that discovered the historical site, this Taruga we are calling.
On Gold Tunnel, we have Taruga iron smelting site. It's one of the oldest iron smelting sites in West Africa.
This very place was used for the iron smelting, and the same place where Bernard Fogg, the archaeologist, discovered the Nok terracotta.
Just behind me is the relics of some of the houses that were used to serve the purpose of this place. But as we speak, only stones could tell you that something like this was once here.
The exploration continued with traces of other historic monuments facing the threats of extinction someday, considering their present state, with nothing much to secure them.
Here we can see just some few relics of the grinding stone, pounding stone, and some beacons which were said to have been left behind by the white men.
It was fun mixed with work in Taruga, seeking answers to journalistic curiosity. The next spot was the Gidan Bature, that is the white man's residence, perhaps the oldest in the community.
The building here, according to what we learned, is where the white man settled with his member of staff whom served him then. And over time, the members of this community have watched helplessly this structure go to where it is today. The interaction between the white men and the local community here has left a lot of historical, facts and relics here. And one of which is this very well where I'm currently sitting, which was dug and constructed in the year 1329. That is a very long time in history, I must say. And as far as this well is concerned, it's what this community so much cherish.
If they can make it in form of tourism, there is a lot of things that historical, something that they can be able to see.
Members of the community who are appealing to the FCT administration and the federal government to do the needful in order to prevent its extinction and loss of the historic monuments and valuables said the development of the area is long overdue. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA.
You said it all, Abdullahi Ajia. A society that is blank about its past history and culture is like a tree without roots. This is a pointer to the importance of archaeological preservation and collection of vital histories. Lagos, for instance, is home to more than 10 museums and state heritage sites. Jennifer Igwe, who visited 2 of the unique centers, say they are embodiment of inspiration and learning.
Now, the National Museum in Lagos, established in 1957, is one of the oldest in Nigeria, and it is home to some of the defining monuments in Nigeria's history, like this vehicle that was the official car of the former head of state, General Muritala Muhammad, who was assassinated in 1976, right in this car. Crucial history that could have died with many in that era, including the leaders whose pictures hang significantly in this room. For 10-year-old Anese Agere, who is visiting the museum for the first time, the knowledge she gathered gave her insight into the past.
What was going on in my mind was that, so these are the past governors of Nigeria, and I was live then compared to now.
The thought on the mind of Anese was not far from mine when I visited the Nigerian Railway Legacy Mini Museum. Built in 1898, it was named after the late Francis Jakel Obe, former superintendent of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. In this Lagos heritage site are archivals and artifacts that help one understand the way the railway operated in the past. Then there is the key token box.
And the key token box was supposed to help you register movement across stations in the railway network. For example, a rider who leaves from Ebutemeta, which is regularly denoted as EB or EBJ, will take this key and move to a place like Abeokuta, which might be AB or ABK, and he would register this key token there.
Omotayo Adebayo, the curator of the National Museum Lagos, says repatriation of antiquities and artifacts will add value to the historical library of the nation.
Of recent, a terracotta was brought back, and that was well appreciated. We have some that are, over the years, brought back from South Africa, and now, you know, the German, there's this German conversation that is trying to bring back the Benin works.
Just like the National Museum has relics from the colonial era, artworks of culture, old stamps and currencies many in this generation are oblivious of, the Railway Mini Museum has archaic trains, rails, and even exquisite dinner sets used by the Queen of England when she visited Nigeria in 1956. Hello. In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
I think Jennifer is trying to get to me through that phone. Well, when we return from this next break that we are about to take, a medical feat that guarantees a longer lifespan for the heart, where's the strategies coming from? We're hanging there for answers when News Extra returns.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
'Cause I'm the new best thing. I'm the new best thing. Better than you've ever seen.
Discover new Guinness Smooth. Perfectly balanced for a smooth, refreshing taste.
I'm the new best thing.
Sunday on Nigerian Idol, the voting lines will open for your top 11. And looking for your support are Akuna, Beyonce, Clinton, Comfort, Daniel, Dotun, Emmanuel, Faith Mac, Francis, and Kingdom. Nigeria, you take control from this Sunday. So register to vote for free on our website now to ensure your favorite stays on the show. The Top 11 live this Sunday at 7.
This is Nigerian
Idol.
Proudly sponsored by Biggie Drinks, Nigeria's favorite, and Techno Mobile.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
Great to have you back. It is becoming increasingly difficult for farmers to engage in crop production activities during flooding without adequate adaptation strategies. These strategies, authorities say, are linked to socioeconomic factors that create a lot of challenges if they are not properly understood by farmers. This is what Sandra Dowesi-Akeme is looking at in this report.
Agriculture forms the backbone of the Benue State economy, engaging more than 70% of the working population. This has made Benue the major source of food production in the nation, popularly known as the food basket of the nation. Over the years, the problem of flooding has been significant in the reduction of crop production, destruction of property and livestock in the state, especially with the overflow of river banks. This has become a critical issue for farmers who are usually caught off guard, hence not able to take precautionary measures. On the preparedness to mitigate the impact of food on agriculture ahead of the rains, stakeholders say they have put in place irrigation agricultural techniques to curtail the effects.
In areas where it's always possible that it has to rain, farmers farmed before now, so that before the flooding, some of their crops might have matured and they have harvested. Once it germinates, even if there will be no rain for the next 3 weeks, the plants will not be affected.
In the rice farm like that, you can make gutters, ditches, so that the water will have way to go out. Just open a way for the water. Don't allow it to be stagnant in your field. Just try to make a passage for the water to go out of your field.
For instance, in the lowland paddy farming, you can go for transplanting. You have to develop your seedlings elsewhere, and be monitoring. In transplanting, you can do it even within flood waters. In that case, your rice will still germinate.
To avert recurrences, the state government is working out modalities in tackling the menace.
If the river Benue is dredged, and then you have more carrying capacity for water, to be able to drain all the water that either comes from rainfall or a point is released from the upstream dam. So that is one thing that could be done. Or if the National Weather Agency, NIMET, are able to predict the rainfall pattern and to give early warning notice to farmers when floods are likely to happen, that will allow them time to be able to prepare or sometimes maybe even evacuate before the floods happen.
Farmers therefore need adequate knowledge on the nature and causes of climate change. This, of course, depends on the access to credible information and their capacity to apply the information. In Makudi, Sandra Dowesi-Akeme, NTA News.
From agriculture to a bit on health. Normal heart rate is critical for proper oxygen and nutrient-rich blood circulation throughout the body. Is there any medical intervention for a patient whose heart fails to beat at the proper rate of 60 to 100 beats per minute? Well, let's find out from Yemi Adalemo as he takes us to the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, where a first pacemaker implantation was carried out on a 62-year-old patient.
Over the years, quite a few patients with heart-related conditions lost their lives due to lack of medical intervention to restore their heart rhythm's irregularities. However, such patients can now heave a sigh of relief as the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta, has come up with an alternative to stop sudden death caused by heart disorders. Although it is a minor surgery, a pacemaker is a small battery-operated device which is implanted under the skin close to the heart of the patient without necessarily going through open heart surgery. Cardiologists say the main function of a pacemaker is to help regulate the heartbeats for it to perform optimally by pumping blood properly to the body.
The normal heart rate is sometimes something between 60 and 72 beats per minute. When it is low and it's getting down, it means some artificial devices need to be inserted.
Carrying out a permanent pacemaker insertion on a 62-year-old patient, the hospital's cardiologist explained that the device is necessary when the heart's upper chambers fail to contract properly and the ventricles decline to pump blood out of the heart.
This particular one, we know that the rhythm and the heart rate is not going to get better because it's almost like a permanent disorder. So we are going to put in a permanent pacemaker.
It's done under image guidance. Okay, you can either use a cath lab machine, okay, or you can use a C-arm. Okay, many institutions have a C-arm. C-arm is a radiological instrument or equipment that you can use. You see the guide wires you're going. You can use it to know the exact position of the lead in the heart.
The patient, Mrs. Dukwe Odusonya, says she first experienced some health warning signs like fatigue, weakness, chest pain, fainting, among others.
To the glory of God, it's just the initial pain, the minimal pain that I felt. Within a short period, I woke up and immediately I was brought back to the ward. On getting to the ward, I don't really think I felt any pain that was nauseating or terrifying.
Timely recovery, cardiologists say, depends largely on the patient's condition after the surgery and proper nutrition. Normal exercise are also required as lifestyles to improve patients' cardiovascular health. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Federal Fire Service is currently strengthening measures to improve capacity and safety response to disaster, as well as create a robust platform for effective service delivery. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that part of the measures is the introduction of armed squads to provide security for personnel during emergency situations.
Top on the measures, the Federal Fire Service says it is taking it to strengthen operations of the service by introducing an armed squad against the background of what is called unjustifiable attacks on personnel during fire disaster.
Under my watch, we have grown to over 6,000 staff with presence in the 36 states of the Federation and FCT. Owing to a budgetary boost in recent years.
Sequel to the procurement of firefighting vehicles, ambulances, training of officers from within and outside the country, and efforts to repeal the act establishing the service, the Federal Fire Service established offices across the nation to increase capacity to respond to frequent fire incidents.
We are reaching out to the National Assembly so that they can facilitate and fast-track the review and amendment of the Act, as this will reposition the service to enhance timely and professional service delivery.
In the year 2020, the organization is said to have saved the country of 1.35 trillion naira losses and more than 3.7 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2020, in addition to saving many lives. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Nigeria will continue to use culture to promote peace and sustainable development. This was made known at a roadshow in Abuja to mark 2021 World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development. Oyenaya Kaluoka reports.
The World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development does not only celebrate the richness of world culture, but the essential role of intercultural dialogue in achieving peace and sustainable development. The roadshow, led by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, is basically to sensitize Nigerians on the importance of using culture in achieving peace and the theme of this year's event, which is cultural diversity in the COVID-19 era.
It can be used as an instrument for unity. It can be used as an instrument for social cohesion. And even in this day and age of insecurity,
as a result of the spread of COVID-19, tourists can no longer come into Nigeria to visit our tourist sites.
China and Nigeria have a lot in common with diverse culture and large population. The Chinese government pledged to continue to support Nigeria with technology in promoting her culture.
China and Nigeria, we can support each other and fight against the COVID-19. And at the same time, we can use new technology.
The roadwalk is part of activities marking the 2021 World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development, held every 27th of May. Goyina Kalo Oka, NTA News.
Thank you, Inaya. What does the cap mean to you as a man? Are you one of those who feel incomplete in your outfit without a cap? Join us for an interesting piece on this apparel and a bit on weather.
Classes on television for students in secondary schools in English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education.
My name is Chikwe Ihekwazu. I lead the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. I'm extremely privileged to have gotten this vaccine today. Really, I accept it really on behalf of all the healthcare workers, public health workers. I've really spent the last 12 months working so incredibly hard on this response. And I think it provides hope. You know, this vaccine really provides us an opportunity to reinvigorate ourselves as we sustain the response in Nigeria. So this vaccine provides us a real shot at life. But, you know, that shot will come into effect when we have most of the population vaccinated. We have to keep washing our hands, wearing our masks, keeping apart from each other until we have enough people vaccinated in the country. And I'm sure we'll get there.
Welcome. Nigerian dress style is unique and attractive within and outside the country. In some parts of the country, though, you are considered not fully dressed as a man if the accompanying cap or hat is not on the head. In this report, Morjana to Adam Said spoke with a cross-section of people who see the cap as a symbol of culture, honor, leadership, and dignity.
When it comes to dress sense, Nigerians are in the class of their own. The cultural beauty diversity of Nigeria is often reflected in many ways. One notable way is the variety of traditional attires unique to the various ethnic groups in the country. These attires, however, have something in common: the use of the cap. Though an unwritten rule, the Nigerian traditional attire is said to be incomplete without a cap. It could be cultural or religious, but the use of cap has a special place. The Hausas call it hula, among the Yorubas fila, while the Igbos call it aku.
This is our full Nigerian dressing. Niger Delta, the Igbos, the Yoruba, this is the Hausa. And I like the dressing. I'm not from the north, but I'm from Niger Delta.
They usually come in different shapes, sizes, designs, and colors, depending on the occasion, mostly on the one who the cap fits.
The youth can wear the facial cap and all this, but if you wear a red cap and enter where they are, and you are not a decent, they finish you. I'm telling you.
Like how?
They may even tell the chairman of village and all this that you are insulting them. They are looking down on them. You are not the chief, and you are putting high chief cap If you want to be a chief, come. We give you the form. You fill the form. We give you the conditions, the things you do before we are the cap.
A bag full of caps is a cap full of gold to Malam Bala Karama, who has been in the business for many decades.
There's one that call it Tangarang. Tangarang is my Dugori cap. What everybody know it. But the Tangarang is grade by grade. From 250,000 and 100,000 and 300,000 and the 50,000 naira. There is a Hausa cap. Why I bring it from Katsina. That cup they are selling, most of that one is 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 3,000 naira.
This is the cap. Women can wear it like this. It signifies that yes, that woman that has gone far to know the tradition.
The cap's capital currency on this side of the planet is, of course, it offers some token of protection from the vagaries of nature. That is to cap it all. Cap sellers say, no matter your financial position or status in the society, there is a cap for everyone who desires one. In Abuja, Morijana to Adam Said, NTA News.
That looks good on you. Let's take a look at the weather prospects for Thursday.
A warm welcome to Thursday's forecast. The prospect of early morning thunderstorms over parts of Lagos, Ogun, Edo, and Akwa Ibom. Other parts of the country should be cloudy with sunny spells over cities in the north. For the afternoon and evening hours, high convective available potential energy coupled with good moisture is expected to trigger thunderstorms over the southeast coast to include parts of Imo and Edo, but more over the southwestern region. Other places expected to experience thunderstorms include the north-central parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Kaduna, Adamawa, and Taraba. That's our bit from here. I am Theodora Itum. Thank you for watching.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's News Extra. Don't forget to join the NTA as we stand against rape and rapists. And that's the surest and fastest way to becoming a star. Thank you so much for being a part of News Extra tonight. I am Fatima Marbuba. Enjoy the rest of your night.